But there are other motivations that are commercial, directly or indirectly, too. For example, when you shoot as many missiles as we shot, the more sophisticated air launched cruise missile from the bombers, the B-1 bombers, and then from the Arleigh Burke class cruisers, the Aegis class cruisers, Arleigh Burke class destroyers, the submarines, and so forth. This makes Raytheon and other military industrial complex members very, very happy. Their production lines are humming. It also, this is something we forget, that also when you shoot a lot of them, as we're doing in Yemen, and as we just did in Syria, the Saudis shooting them for us in Yemen, of course, it decreases the item cost for the items for the DoD, for the Pentagon. That is to say, when they produce a whole lot of missiles, the volume brings the individual unit price down. So these are very expensive missiles, somewhere between $1.2 and $2 million a piece. Just think about that when you look at how much we shot. How many kids could have gone to college? How many people could have been treated in a hospital, and so forth and so on.
You mentioned Raytheon. We just saw a bounce in shares and profits, with the former Raytheon seeing $5 billion added to their stock value following the Syrian strikes. What other companies will see their product values rise in the event of wars like this?
There are a number of so-called military industrial complex giants that almost always, directly or indirectly, benefit from this sort of thing. When we reduced, General Powell, when he was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the U.S., I was his special assistant. When we reduced the number of defense contractors at the end of the Cold War down to just a few, and really 6 to 8 really big ones that do lots of work. Lockheed Martin, of course, is the champion of them all, probably the largest defense contractor in the world. Halliburton, Dick Cheney's old company, the oil peripherals, Raytheon, Boeing, Grumman, and so forth. This bunch, one of them will be the prime and others will be the subs. In other words, you'll have a prime contractor and then you'll have the others. And they sort of trade this around. And the profits just go off the charts because they are monopolistic now. And we all know that monopolies produce the worst product for the highest price, the longest time span to produce it, and so forth, because they've become very expert in milking government and taxpayers for all the money they can get out of them. Lockheed Martin, of course, is an absolute champion at this, the largest arms merchant. I call them merchants of debt in the world. So yes, the whole community generally benefits because of this very incestuous, insidious, pernicious relationship that now exists between them.
When global crises like this kick off, we often see the press rushing to cover